whether you're sewing it now live with me or joining me later when it works in your schedule. So today we're going to do two 6-inch blocks, finished 6-inch blocks. They're going to be 6.5 hopefully when we're done sewing them. This first one that we're going to work on, I'm doing this kind of to be like a little challenge to see super tiny pieces that I can sew together. This is the blockhead from Moda Blockhead 3, which we've been doing all along, and it's going to go in my quilt for finishing, right? I need, forget how many more I think I need. 6 maybe? I don't know. I think maybe I needed 2, 4, 6, 7. Maybe I needed 7. I did 2, so I need 5. But who knows? I will count later. This is block, I'm going to put my glasses on to see this. This is block number 29. And it's called Ring Around, and it's by Corey Yoder. I just thought it was adorable, and I think it will go with my fabrics from Ebb and Flow. And then the other one is from the free website I found of where you can, it's a library of blocks of different sizes, and they're sorted by the sizes. When you click on it, you get the instructions for the size. That's the patchwork square it's called, and this one's a pinwheel block. They call it a fan, I guess because it's supposed to look like a ceiling fan. Who knows? We're gonna do that one second. We're gonna do the more challenging one first. I'm wearing my, it's sort of like allergy season again for me. I think ragweed's hitting our yard hard. So anyway, apologize for that. My iron's on. Oh, I want to show you something. In making one of the blocks, I made this square. You know how big this is? 6.5. It was going to be the center, but it was supposed, I forget why I didn't like the way it worked, because it could orient any direction, but maybe it was like, ended up having to go that, I don't know, but it's 6.5-inch square. So guess what? It's going in as one of my blocks. I just think that's kind of cool. All right, enough. I'm going to tip you down. Good morning, Laura. I'm going to tip everything down and get you going. The blocks are all off my design wall today, so you're only going to see the two. I've rearranged my flag blocks on my wall because I'm going to put that together hopefully today. Well, I can't put it completely together because I have to make a lighthouse block for the center. I think that's what I'm going to do. Because I can't do a burgee because there's so many yacht clubs in Marblehead. I can't just do a BYC burgee. That would limit the pool of who would buy this. All right. Hopefully this isn't going to slide you off because I need to move my mat. All right, here we go. So we're starting with Ring Around by Corey Yoder. And I've cut all the pieces. I whipped them off this morning because yesterday, clearly I can't talk and work at the same time. Yesterday I went up to bits and pieces, and I will fill you in on that after we get these blocks made. So first we're going to make the half square triangles. Today I cut the pieces just the way they said in the pattern. I just wanted a little, like, to see how that would work. So I'm going to restack them over here. I'm really good at making a mess. Someday I'd like to be more organized, but you know what? I'm not waiting for that day. I'm just going for it. All right, move my iron back up. So the first thing is to sew the A and B triangles that we cut. I would have done half square triangles, but I just cut them, and she cut them 2.5, so I don't know if I have to shrink them down. I guess I do after I sew them, so it's kind of like making half square triangles, but I'm sewing them together. There's 4 corners, so I'm making 4 of them. I'm putting my stitch length down to 2.0. I have my little leader in there. I just like using it. I know some people don't, but I do. Start with needle down because on my machine, yes, spoiled child, my presser foot pops up just a little bit when I do that so that I can slide my piece right under on the 1/4 inch, and I have the tape off my machine because I had to clean my machine, which you should do, and change the bobbin, which means I have to take the little door off, so I have to redo the tape every time I do that. There are advantages to the push-in, I don't know what you call that, the push-in bobbin versus the drop-in bobbin. And there are advantages to the drop-in bobbin. Like, I know when it's going to run out. I can see it. Not only that, my machine does tell me. This is a super nice machine. And okay, one more to go. Then we'll press them and trim them. Get my Creative Grid square. I love that. The 6.5. I've used the Creative Grid 6.5. I've almost used it so much that I don't know. Maybe I might need to own 2 of them. That seems to be, for most of my projects, the most popular one. Oh, look at this. Oh, never mind. I was getting ahead of myself. I was reading because I was going to change some more in there, but I'm not sure I'm in love with how she put it together, but I'm going to put it together that way. I'm following the directions today rather than doing it my way, which may frustrate the crap out of me, but we'll see. Okay. You know, you get going and you think your own way is the best, but maybe I can learn something by doing it this way. All right, taking it to the iron. I'm looking at it, none of the seams match up to anything on it, so I am pressing it all to the dark. All right, so now it says for the 6-inch size, these need to be 2 inches. Oh, let's see what they're gonna do. See how it goes. 2 inches. Let me move this out of the way so I can line. I like to, and when I'm doing multiples, I line them up the same. I might not have enough room that close. The same way, orientation, I guess that's a better word. So that I can just do the first cut all the way down, boom, boom, boom. And it needs, oh look, 2 inches totally works. Should have known that because it would have been 2 3/8 for exact. So I'm running the 45-degree line right down the seam, top, side and top, whatever it ends up being. Now I'm doing it again all the way down. Then I'll flip these babies and I'll have 4 of them. You want it far enough apart so that you don't cut into the next one down the line when you're trimming. That would be not a happy situation, but close enough that you're not, that it doesn't take up so much space that you're frustrated with that. So now I'm just flip them like this one at a time and move it out of the way. So I'm putting the 2 in the corner, and that line better fall right on there, or you'll, oops, slide that down. You made a mistake on the first cut if that happens. So it's just like going down the chain. That was off just a hair, so I'm going to trim that. Still Sorry, that was a little aggressive there with that one. But it will be all right. It's tucked in a corner. That's the way it works. I'll just slow down so I get them all right. And okay, we have our 4 corner pieces for the block. Put these in the trash and get a sip of my water. Stay hydrated. It's starting to get hot here. We had a nice little reprieve over the weekend with the weather. Okay, so the next section is putting together these pieces. We're going to make 4 of them. And she sews them in rows and sews them together. I would have sewn them, I would have sewn these 2 units together and then these 2 units together, but we will do the rows. And we will do it her way. I'm making, but I have to align them so that because of course I used a directional fabric, of course. It doesn't matter when I'm attaching the whites to that, but it'll matter that I do half of them one way and half of them the other way. So I'm gonna just do all the navies first, and because then I can lay it out so that I can orient its pair to match. But this one I can just do these together. Oh, there it is. Thought I lost it. Put that out of the way so you can see better. These, by the way, are 1 1/4 inches. It's going to be really tiny. It's going to finish like a 3/4 inch square, because right, you take a 1/2 inch off, 1/4 inch on each seam. That's a tiny square. I think it's kind of fun. The Fat Quarter Shop is going to start a sew along in September, so if we're still we are still sewing virtually. I may do it anyway. I'm definitely going to, when this quilt is done, when I have all my 6.5 inch squares, I'm going to do skill builders. I'm going to do a series of skill builders and all the different ways. Like, I'm going to start with all the different ways to make flying geese. I know I did it through this series, but I want you to be able to go and find the video that says flying geese and how to make them, and I will figure out how to put links to various websites so that you can have the charts that I find. You don't have to take copious notes, and you can just take a look and say, okay, I want to put flying geese in this. I know Janet said you could do this, or I heard somebody say you could do this, and you can just look it up. And I'm going to talk about cutting and using rulers, and I'm going to, I haven't thought about all of them. Half square triangles is a big one. And so, because that is in, like, it's been in everything, hasn't it? It's been like in almost every block. It's hard to find one that doesn't have something like that. And so I'm going to do a handful of those. If you can think of something, a skill that you want to see, skill builder that you would like to see, I would love to do it. So I want you to just shoot it in. I might even do a quick free motion. I'll do a free motion class. And I think that would be kind of fun, actually. And somehow my thread stopped sewing. Look at that. No thread. Where did it stop? Well, isn't that handy dandy? I'll just press this one. I don't know what I did that caused that to happen. That's a new one on me. Do not ever try to unthread your machine. It's shredded. This is the Aurifil. Isn't that interesting? I wonder if maybe I've had it too long. These spools are so big. I don't think so. I sew all the time. Can't imagine. That's the case. Or am I not using my needle threader? I do not know. There we go. How about the bobbin thread? Let's see if it's long enough to catch. Where's my leader? Well, got a new one. Start a new one. Probably. Oh, there it is. But that's all right. I have this one going now. All right. We'll see. Living dangerously. Let's put this on here now. No, let's put my needle down. So I'm ready to sew. Yep, it's going. That was bizarre. Maybe I was pulling or pushing. If you notice something, give a shout out in the comments on why it's shredded. There's the block that it's shredded on. A little fray. Shouldn't have pulled that hard. Okay, this is the last one of these, and then we're going to lay them out so I know which orientation to do the little ones, because press these. Okay, so I have two that are oriented this way and two that are oriented this way so that it can go around the block. So now we're going to take and put two over here, two over here, and we're going to stack these in the right orientation that will work with these. This set of two is going to be the trickiest because we have to keep them all well, trickiest for my brain. Maybe not trickiest. All right, there we go. So let's get cracking. Let's take these two first and run them through. These two. This time I'm going to run my leader through and take them all to the iron so that I can plop them all back down in the right orientation. Let's pick that up from somewhere. So Kind of Wonderful came out with the Mrs. Claus. They call her Posh Holly. I'm going to be making her But I think I will rerun the Santa class. That goes that way. That goes that way. And these last two are this way. So let's flip. Hopefully I can do it at the church. I have an email out to the pastor. I hope he's doing okay. I've heard nothing. I really haven't checked in at all, which is sort of irresponsible of me, but with him to see how he's doing. I probably should have done that, but I haven't been doing that. And I'll see what he says. I don't know how quick he'll be able to get back to me or anything, or if he's even thought about the opening up. But I'm hoping that in September we can go back after Labor Day and start sewing on Tuesdays in the church. Good. I was afraid I turned the sails. I was afraid I turned them upside down, but they're not upside down. So be just like me to say, oh, I can start talking now. Now we're going to put these two rows together, and we're going to hopefully put the right pair together. That's the plan anyway. And I'm going to take these to the iron and press them. All right, so these here, so now it's going to be a pair, but we need to do them so that okay, they're doing all the darks on top, so that would be like that. And I guess, well, we have to do this so that it goes on the outside. So one has to go this way, and one has to go this way. So these two, and we have to do this one too, because we need the sails. So as much as I'd like to just lay it down that way, that would work if it was not a directional fabric, but of course I pick a directional fabric. So I'm going to put a pin in this piece down here, and then match up this right here and pray. Woo! Here we go. Tiny going to tiny. Keeping that pin there until the last second, because otherwise it will pull that, put all the fullness into that space, and it might have done it anyway, but we'll see. Put this pin here. This time the bump is going to push up against the ridge. Still put that there anyway. This one's fit. This one seems to be nesting better than the other one. So I sewed more accurate seams on this one. Now watch this be the one that ends up being off, but I don't think so. Just cutting the sleeve off this other block out of the way. That's what's going on back there. I was trying to figure that out. All right, let's put this one on. Oh, I'm subscribed to, I told you this before, but the Fat Quarter Shop block of the month that they're doing, I subscribed a long time ago. But it started 2 months ago. So I just got my 3rd month in the mail. It's like Christmas. So exciting. And they said it was going to deliver by 9 o'clock at night. And then it didn't, and then it updated their website. And it's all part of the trauma of the United States Postal Service, which hopefully is getting looked at and mended. But it arrived, no problem. I was worried for a second that it had been lost when it didn't show up, but then when they updated the page, I wasn't worried anymore. And it came, but I was like super excited, just because I love the fabrics. I'll show it to you when we're done with the blocks. I just think they're phenomenal. All right, we only have one more part to sew before we can start putting this together. So far, so good. Okay, so here we go. These are the pieces, top and bottom, left and right, squares. Now look at this. I fussy cut the center. It's a 3.5 inch square, and these snowball around the outside. I drew a line on the back, just like they asked. So we're going to sew corner to corner, and I'm going to put this on each corner. And what we want to make sure is that it flips completely over to the side. This time I remembered that it was on point, and I put the block on point. I didn't have to recut it. Very happy with myself. And since I don't have the tape on, I wouldn't have drawn this line, by the way, if I had the tape on my machine, but as I told you before, I took it off. So I have to keep running this through because we have to stop and press and do each corner one at a time. So there's one. Just going to use the scissors. I'll just keep going around. I don't know. Opposites. Do opposites first. It doesn't matter what order you sew these in for this pattern. There may be some patterns where it does, but not for this one. And I could have just put this on without pressing. Now I'm realizing that. But I didn't. Oh, I have my 2 of them now. I'll just use both of them. Okay, press and cut. I'm pressing first. Pressing first because I want to make sure that it fits before I trim off the fabric. Because if it doesn't fit, I have a choice. Cutting just the beige out from underneath and leaving the original square, or ripping it out and resewing it. And it depends on the weight of the fabric, it depends on how picky I'm being, it depends on lots of things what I choose. But just ripping it out. Ripping it out. I usually default for ripping it out if it but sometimes I don't, and it's a totally real and okay way to do it, to just cut the bottom fabric off, especially if the weight isn't going to make too much bulk. That's the only thing I worry about, doing that, too much bulk. Oh, I made the map. Oh, I keep talking and walking away. So, Jessica created a challenge for me because the daughter of the pharmacist that she works for now at Village Pharmacy wanted a mask like hers. And because it really is easier to breathe in, I think, with the extra space. And so I created a child size one. I actually went online to see what because other people have now taken her design and run with it to get the size. And she gave me a mask that she was wearing that fit her. She didn't give me the mask, she traced it. Very resourceful child. And I didn't want the mask anyway. So, and I don't know how they fit yet. I just gave them to Jessica yesterday before I went up to Bits and Pieces. And after my eye appointment, I'm going to buy myself some new readers and pay lots of money to get the corrected ones for my stigmatism for my work. And you know what? I just cut that first. I took a risk. I was like so happy to have all 4 of them done. All right. So now, look at that. It sort of cut so much of the ship you can't tell that I actually did it correctly so that it worked, but it doesn't matter. What the heck? I don't care. It's kind of graphic in there. I'm going for it. Would have been nice to get a little ship right in there, but whatever. All right, so we're going to rotate this. And there is the top. There's the bottom. There's the left. There's the right. And these are the corners. There we go. That's what it's going to look like all done once it's sewn together. So it's just a 9 patch, just like we've done before. You know, once you get the elements of most blocks done, they pretty much fall down to 4 patch or a 9 patch. Lots of them do. Not all of them, of course. But now we can chain. Should do all the same side. All right, I will press these to whichever way produces the least amount of bulk. And I'm going to start with the center because I don't think it's going to matter on these. I think it's going to matter more in the center, and then I'll make the others go. This will want to go towards these. So I ended up pressing towards the, oops, yeah, this is the top. Nope, that's the bottom. Good. Scared myself there because I had them correct. Oh, but look at that. These are oriented wrong. I put the wrong pair, but you know what? This is right. This is right. This is wrong. This is wrong. Those got switched. I'm just going to leave them. They're tiny enough. I'm going to leave them. And they're just on a race course. That is what they're doing. And they're sailing every which way. Which would be true, actually. If you've ever been in the harbor and watched the sailboats trying to race in the harbor of the Jackson Cup. There are different points on the harbor, different places on the wind. But at least the dark to light is in the right place. So There we go. That was weird the way that started up. I will turn that off when the caller ID hits.
Call from Mr. Cooper Loans.
Mr. Cooper Loans.
Call.
I don't know who Mr. Cooper is. But you can leave a message. Okay, now we just sew our 2 rows together, and this block will be done. We switched to Verizon from Comcast. And in switching from Verizon to Comcast, we, changed everything, our phone, the landline, and everything, which I'm glad we still have the landline. And because I used it as my answering machine, as my address book, took down all the numbers because we lost all the Comcast voicemails that I saved. And but we have to adjust the number of rings because now we're getting voicemail for all the spam. Because if it rings 3 times, after it rings 3 times, they usually hang up. I don't know if you guys know that, but they do. 3 or more. So that's why I got our dad to count to 3. And then I wish I'd switched to 4, but anyway, I got him to count, and it reduced the amount of spam calls that he got. So I think next time I might have pressed the seams open. There are no, there were pressing directions on the side pieces, but maybe there were for the other part too. Yes, they pressed it the way I did. Okay, so, but I don't know how, but maybe that's for the bigger block. Maybe it'd been easier the other way. So, see if she presses. Nope, she doesn't give pressing for these. So now, one more piece to put on. One more piece, and then the complicated one, or the one with the tiniest pieces. I don't know, the other ones, yeah, they're not that small. They're not that small. I think I'll put a pin this time in the center because it's not quite. All right, here we go. Last seam on this block. There it is. Look at that. I'll stick it up on my design wall. Let's see how accurate it came out. Pretty close. Pretty close. Love it. Up it goes. All right, let's do the other one. Quick and easy, and we'll have 2 down. And probably later today I'll put it back up on the design wall because I think we'll be close enough to being done. All right, so now it doesn't show, it says 1, 2, 3. So clearly I have to make this flying geese unit. And I need to make 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So the one thing about this block is I don't believe there's piecing instructions. I don't remember seeing any, but we're going to take these pieces right here and we're going to sew them. I don't know if they're all on the same side, so I'm just going to lay out the block. So I'm putting this here and then this goes here. This goes here. It's probably not where you can see it, but part of it will be, and that goes there. And then this is going to come up on this side, and I'm getting hot because my iron's been on long enough. And then this will fit in here. And then this will go in here. And then this will come here. And then all the beiges are hitting in the center. Okay, like this. And here's the beige for this one. My hands are getting a little sweaty. So I'm gonna go turn my iron on. I'll be right, iron. My iron's on already, that's the problem. Turn the fan on. Okay, so here we go. And we're gonna sew, I'm gonna flip and sew. I think they are all the same orientation. I am matching, when I'm sewing this on, the bottom corner of it. You can see, can you see that base right there? I'm matching that right there. And I'm letting the machine just catch it. And I'm just letting all the extra fall off the top. All the extras falling off the top. It looks like a lot. I don't know, I haven't used her pattern before, but I know in past experience that it just looks like a lot, but it's not too much. All right, run my little tail through. And now we're gonna press these all, I'm gonna press them away from the, thinking about this, yeah, I'm gonna press them away. All right, I'm gonna take this to the iron. Okay. So now these triangles are going on the other side. Just leave those. We can drop them in the spot. You could cut these little tails off right now if you wanted to. Some people press them the other way so that they can line it up. But you have the bottom piece. You're going to line it up the same way. I'm actually going to trim that one up that way. That one came up even higher. That makes me wonder about my cutting. So anyway, we'll just see how these come out. All right. You also don't have to do that first. Then nobody would have known. And now when I put this on here, the 1/4 inch seam should fit right there when I put it under the needle, and it does. And you have to be careful. You're working with the bias. Okay, now this one that I cut off, you'll see there's still a little notch there. Right there, that little notch should be at 1/4 inch, and I just tuck the needle right in there to check. If it's not, something is off. Would have been my first culprit or thing I would have guessed would be my cutting. And you can adjust. You don't have to recut, throw out, scrap it all. There are ways to fix that. There's ways to fix just about everything. Sometimes cutting them, redoing them is the best option. Doesn't mean you have to do it. I'm doing the same thing. I'm lining this up in the corner and along that edge, the bottom edge. And then I'm checking my 1/4 inch. This one looks bigger. Now this one's a little bigger, but so I'm actually using the true 1/4 inch. See, you know, it doesn't matter. 3 right, you would think they would all be right because I just cut the squares in half once on the diagonal to get that. It wasn't like I cut it twice on the diagonal, just one time. And 1/4 inch seam is really the magic. All right, so now I'm going to press these, the same thing, I'm going to press them away and I'll have that nice point there. So now we have the little dog ears. I should be doing this over my trash barrel, but I'm just going to put them right here and I'll throw them away later. Trimming all the dog ears off. Making a mess, but I'll throw them in the trash when we're done. So we can measure these rectangles or go for it, and I'm opting to go for it. See, this is the one that was off by a little bit, so it's off a little up there, so I will measure that one. That's where the 1/4 inch didn't quite line into the 1/4 inch, because we want it that as accurate in the center section as possible. Yeah, so here it is. This is the one that's off. And I'm actually just gonna lay this one right on top here. Yep, if I can actually square this one. It's right in the corner, but it's off a little in this section right here. So I know it's supposed to be 2. Oh, actually, it fits perfectly with that. So we're going to use this edge. And that's in the 1/4 inch seam allowance. All right, so let's put these babies back in here. There we go. Well, that was not good. So let's do, this one goes like this. There's the pinwheel right in the middle. It's telling me to stand. What am I doing? What am I, like chopped liver? Not standing. Now these should match, and this one's bigger. Why is this one bigger? And this one. All right, we're gonna square these babies up. They're supposed to be 3.5 by 2. So let's just do 3.5. Let's just check these babies out. So we're gonna square them up. All right. You have to think about this now. We're gonna take all these. Or we could do that or make these rectangles bigger. Let's just check and maybe see if I did this correct. Maybe I cut this wrong. Let's measure this. This is, it's a little over 3.5. And this is 3.5. No, I cut these correctly according to the pattern. So let me get my wing clipper and see. Huh. And we'll use the wing clipper. This is Deb Tucker's Flying Geese ruler. And we're going to put this on here. So we're putting this on right so that that fits in the center. And this one's pretty close to the 3.5 by 2. I'm putting this 1/4 inch in here and letting the lines come down my side, and then I'm turning it just a little bit so it fits. My, I guess, somewhat wonky sewing. This is going to truncate the sides a little bit. Now when I turn it this way, I can get the 2 sides. This should fit right in there. This one was the one that looked the closest. That is wild. Okay, so we're going to put this on here, and I'm going to get these, if there's any trimming here to do. This one's perfect. This is the one I laid that other square on top of and said, yeah, we can trim. That just trims a little bit off. That one's perfect. Okay. This one is going to be a little shady on the top, so we're going to drop it down just a hair. And we're going to do this. This is why I usually make the flying geese without doing the cutting the triangles and laying them on like this pattern had us do in the way that they cut it. And you'll see that's definitely why I'm doing a flying geese workshop, because it just makes sense to do that. This one's a little wonky. Let's just drop this down a little and just center that. And then we've got the corners. Okay, these should fit better now. I didn't cut that much off, but certainly when I laid it there, it looked ugly. So now we're going to try again. Let's put the wing clipper away. Okay, so let's put these back the way they belong. I kind of want to do dense, less dense. Dense, less dense. There we go. And now these should fit. There we go. There's always has to be a challenge. The one you think is going to be the easiest isn't. We're going to sew these together. Oh, thank you for the comment, Flora. Those little pieces were a challenge, but I think it looks good too. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Now I'm flipping this over and sewing. Most people say don't sew with where you're supposed to hit up, because then you aim for it. Who knows? Maybe I do aim for it. Just flipping it over, making our pairs. Okay, here we go. One more after this. And this will be, remember I said most blocks are 9 patches or 4 patch? This will be a 4 patch. So it's kind of cool we had an example of each kind. Okay, now, oh, of course my iron goes to sleep right now. Hold on. Trim these apart, and we have our 4 pieces for our 4 patch, and I'm pressing them all towards the lighter fab rectangle because it's the fewer seams and the least amount of bulk. Okay, so now we have to put them back together. And there they go. It's kind of fun looking actually. I'm going to put these 2 together and these 2 together. There's no seams lining up, okay? And we've done the points on the pinwheels. And when we sew these pieces, and we press these, we want to press the seams in opposite directions so that they'll nest. And we could do because a lot of more seams are coming together in that center section, we can do what, after we sew them, what Galina, I think I said her name right, does, what taught me in her hexagon class, so amazing, make the whirl. Okay, so now this is up here, this is right here, and our seams nest, so I'm going to pin right there, and here's hoping that it all comes together. Looks like it's going to. Now, both pairs of my scissors end up there all the time. Crack me up. It's like just I'm too lazy to drop them back down there. Alright, so now here's what she does. She takes the seam ripper, it's hiding from me, and just loosens these top stitches right here. She doesn't cut that, she just loosens it, and she comes over on the other side and does the same thing. And then you can see when I press it, I'll lay it right here. If I press it, all the seams need to go in the same direction, and the pinwheel shows up right there in the center. It makes it nice and flat. Alright, we don't have a perfect center, but this quilt is just for me. And it will hang on my show, but I'm not going to worry about that. But you can see the flat piece on the back. And I'm missing a little piece of the pinwheel there. I don't know what happened to it. It's hiding. Alright, well, let's check its size. Yep, fits right under my ruler. So, we have our 2 squares done. I'm going to tip this up and around so that you can see them. There they are on the wall. You can see the new setting for my flags. I'm going 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, and then in order, because there's only 26 letters of the alphabet, unless they added one, which would be nice for my setting, that I don't know about. I have to make up a block for here. Oh, 6.5 inches, kind of like what we're doing. So that's my job today. And I thought about paper piecing a lighthouse. And I happen to have, hold the phone. I'm gonna take you off the box. Oh, somehow I lost you in taking you off the box. There you are. Sorry about that. That'll be fun. Where is it? Here it is. I have this beautiful pattern here that has a lighthouse in it. Paper pieced lighthouse. And I think it's cute. I think it will fit. It's not 6.5 inches by any long shot, but I'm going to take it to my trusty copy machine and I'm going to, need my glasses on, I'm going to make it the right size. So that's my plan and I'm sticking to it. And hopefully next week, you will see it all put together. And we're going away on the boat for the weekend, so probably not quilted. And then the next thing I have to put together is the Moda blockheads, which I can't do quite yet. So I'm getting there. I also, okay, so yesterday, this is kind of fun. Oh, good. I think it works. I can't remember what I did last time with my flags. I did this once before. So I went to Bits and Pieces. It's so much fun. So I was going to, before I show you what I got, the class to make Boo, the ghost, our little ghosties, is set. Of course, I didn't bring the dates in with me, but I will tell you next week. I'm sure she doesn't have them up on the website or anything yet. She's going to open up, she's potentially opening up the classes to the store in September and October. So we put them in there. I'm going to reteach the Santa, Posh Santa up there, and I'm going to do the Boo class. I'm going to run each one twice, one during the week and one on the weekend. So I'm going to teach the class twice. So those that can't come during the week and can come during the week on the weekend, it'll happen. So, and I may have picked one date in October during the September during the week. I don't know. It's in my calendar on a piece of paper in there. But anyway, I'm going to do a whole cloth quilt on navy with red thread. I'm going to try it. I think red thread is a good color. And oh, thank you, Laura. I definitely will do that. And so I bought a navy. This is a Kona cotton navy. And this is, look at this lobster fabric. I'm just going to stick this on the back because I fell in love with it. And I've got enough so that I can mess up and then do it again. And then I found this really fun fabric. This is just a sky fabric for general use. Okay, here we go. So, this is my favorite thing, because I love these fabrics. This is the one that just came in the mail. All these beautiful fabrics. I don't even know what it is, so we're going to unveil it right now. Because truly, I think I'm going to just put it together. No, I have to get working. So the first month I showed you what I did. Last month, this is one block that I made. And then I did a bigger block. So these are the two blocks. So that's last month. So now that's second month. This is part of month 1. These little ones are month 1. And this is month 1. I had to press these seams open just to make it work on this size. It's really kind of fun. So let's just see. Let's just see what month 3 brings. This is the pattern. Okay. And I'll just show you on the cover which ones they are. I have to pull it out. Let's see. I should pull out the directions anyway. So, here we go. Just waiting for when it's applique. Laura, I will be calling you. All right, so let's see how many blocks. So month 3 looks like fun. All right, let me just pull that out. Put these back. She has a lot of general directions. Okay, so month 3. Month 3 is this block right here. Can't really tell that there's orange in that when I bring it up close. There you go. That's better. That's that one. And just one of these stars right here. Or maybe we do all of them. We just show how putting them together, how many we do. We make 2 of them, 2 of those stars. So that's what I'll be doing with those delicious, yummy fabrics. I'm going to pull the directions up on top of my block pieces in my box. And I'm going to stick these in here for now until I'm organized. See, it all fits in my little box. So, and this is my stack. This is my stack of what I took off the design wall, but my promise to myself is I'm not sticking them back on there until I have the flags done. That's just not happening. And then I have to find a yummy back for this. So, all right, everyone. I want you to have an awesome week. I look forward to seeing you next week. I should have more information about the church and whether we can meet back there. And also I'll send it out in an email, so no worries about that. So have an awesome week, and I'll see you later.